Is Ilia Topuria avoiding Arman Tsarukyan? No. No. Now, I'm imagining having to argue this in front of a jury, right? So you got to go yes or no. There's not a third option. No, I cannot accuse him of dodging Tsarukyan. I do believe that Ilia, as a smart and involved guy in the sport, is aware that Tsarukyan is the biggest problem. That he's aware that Tsarukyan is the biggest threat. But is he dodging him? I got to go with no. And there is a report that Ilia Topuria made a claim, I am not going to fight until next year. That he made this somewhere after his last fight and prior to right now. That report never got confirmed, and if he did say it, I believe that he did, but he only said it once. Like, he wasn't defiant on this. He didn't go on a media tour about, hey, I'm going to take a break, or I've got some nagging injuries, I got a personal issue, all these different stories that you hear. Somewhere he set the statement down. The statement got about 24 hours of headlines. The statement got to Tsarukyan. Tsarukyan said, hey, I'm not waiting. I've already been on a break. Put me back in there. This is how the whole thing with Dan Hooker comes about. It's how the grappling match opposite Benson Henderson comes about. But that's not the same thing as dodging. It's not the same thing. And that was the question that I got asked over here. So, if you're Ilia Topuria, your job is no different than any other champion who is given participation points, which you guys know as pay-per-view bonuses. Your job is to get the biggest paycheck against the easiest opponent. Your job is nothing else. And by the way, nobody expects anything else of you, including Dana White. This actually got tested publicly. It was a season of The Ultimate Fighter. The fighter that had the choice. I go first. Everybody's available. It's going to be the first fight. So I got 8 guys on my team. I got 8 guys on that team. There's a total of 16. I get the absolute first choice. It calls out the toughest guy. Calls out what we would refer to as the number 1 seed, the one that we all thought was going to win. And Dana did an interview, and Dana said, what are you doing? You're playing a game. Why would you think that now's the time to show your macho-ness and your braveness? You're in the toughest tournament in all of sports. Like, your macho-ness and your braveness is not called into question. You now have a job through the parity and rules of a straight line bracket, which is what the Ultimate Fighter is, to advance. You have no other job. Just get to the next round, right? Get from 16 to the quarters, to the semis, to the championship. I share that with you because Ilia doesn't need to look at the field and then go, okay, here's the right guy. Here's the correct guy. And I, as a sportsman, want to compete with the correct guy. It's just not his job. He may elect to do that. Ilia is not afraid of hard work. Don't forget, it was Ilia's idea to move up to 55, of which, when he did that, he believed he was going to go in with Islam. Islam, at that time, not only was champion, not only was heir apparent by King Khabib, he was ranked number 1 pound for pound. He was in front of Ilia. Just to remind you. So, if you're not going to duck the number 1 badass on earth, you can't really fall into the category of ducking the number 1 badass in your weight class. It would be kind of hard to reconcile those two ideas. I don't know what's going on with Ilia, and I must tell you guys, I've tried to get the inside scoop and bring it to you. There is a strong belief that it is going to be Justin Gaethje. There was even a little bit more detail added in terms of like the January next year kickoff of Paramount, which all sounds very possible. The issue is the quietness of Paddy the Baddy. I think that we can agree we're down to Gaethje and Paddy the Baddy. I think that we can agree for over a month we've been down to Gaethje and Paddy the Baddy. My hang-up is there is no fight that Paddy the Baddy would back down from. My hang-up is that Paddy the Baddy is in the very elite. He is in the Israel Adesanya. He is in the Sean O'Malley. He is in the Conor McGregor. He is in the Chael Sonnen category of understanding how this business works. And Paddy would not back down from a fight, including one in the media. For the mandate of the masses against Justin Gaethje, but Paddy has been very quiet. I'm just sharing with you as a clue, as a detective that's sitting back, trying to figure out what's going on here. Gaethje, Ilia sounds right. Paramount and that whole thing would have no idea, but I can't dispute it. January next year, that coincides with what Ilia had said about not fighting until next year. Like, everything sounds fine. It's the sounds I'm not hearing that make me curious. And that would be a concession by Paddy the Baddy. And there is no part of me that believes until the bitter end, which means contract signed, that Paddy the Baddy would back down. Or that Paddy the Baddy would not know the landscape. Or that Paddy the Baddy would not know how powerful the conclusion of Ilia's last fight was when those two came face to face. But he's not using it. He's not using any of it. He's not using it to get the fight. He's not using it to get another fight. It's that silence that you need to hear.